Welcome to our YouTube channel on Success and Women. Women helping women.
Come join us.
See you soon. Welcome to this week's episode of Success and Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today, because we're only a couple of days away from Mother's Day, Andrea and I thought it would be really nice to have a tribute to all the mothers out there and people like me who are like pretend moms to their nieces and nephew and other children.
Exactly.
Anyway, so welcome. Andrea's tip of the day is?
Well, ladies, I got a gift from one of my daughters, and I saw it online. I really liked it, so she ended up getting it for me. So this is great for all mothers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever, who get those pictures from school or even school pictures. So it's a frame, but here it opens up and it's like a little box and has an elastic, and you can change that picture every day or every week. See, it has this, and you just shove the old one here and put the new one in front. And I thought that would be just great because my grandson's bringing home all kinds of artwork, and we do artwork here. So it's nice for them to see it displayed, that you care for it enough to display it. And then the other good thing would be for, I actually got two. One, you could put their school picture every year, and then at the end of, say, high school, you'd have them all stacked in behind. I thought that was a great idea. So if you can find, it's online. I think it's Amazon, not expensive. Go get yourself one. Or
drop a hint, and maybe your kids, if they're old enough, can actually get you one. Because it's always hard for children, whether they're young or old. It's nice when they're young because they can make you the artwork, but when they're older, they're always looking for something, you know. And I know I've gone through this with my mom, and even today, my mom's 91, going to be 92 next month, and I never know what to get my mom. So most of the time it's flowers because she enjoys fresh cut flowers. And of course, it's an easy thing for me because I love fresh cut flowers myself, and it's nice and bright and whatever. I get all these bright colors and stuff to lighten up my mom. She's still in the hospital, by the way, still homeless, by the way. And we are trying desperately to have somebody in the government system find her a suitable place to live. The hospital's ready to release her, which is good because she was in critical care for so long that now she's back in a regular room, and we thought we were going to lose her for a while, and we didn't. And she's back to, you know, wanting to get out of the hospital.
Oh, good.
Like most people. And although Mother's Day's on Sunday, I doubt if my mother will get to go out on Sunday, and because she has no place to live yet. And it's Friday, and, you know, government people, I don't know how much they're going to press to get her into a home by the weekend, but hopefully very soon.
You would have heard by now, I'm sure.
Well, the paperwork only got in yesterday that the doctors were releasing because they wanted to do more testing. Of course, they, you know, she was in the hospital, is in the hospital, and she has been for probably over a month now. And they found something now on her back. I think it's cancerous, but they say it's not that serious, and in the sense that they're not going to do anything. But then they wanted to give her a CAT scan, but then they wanted to do it on her birthday in June. And it was like, my sisters are trying to say, listen, she's in the hospital right now. Please do all your testing, because it's easier while she's there, because she is in a wheelchair and it's hard, you know, for anybody to bring her out. But I get to see her. I haven't seen my mom in a month, and so I actually get to see my mom this weekend. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so you're very blessed to still have her.
Oh, absolutely. And she still has all her faculties. Her body might be breaking down, but she still has it there. So that's the good news. You can still carry on a conversation and stuff, and she knows who I am.
Good.
Even though she never sees me lately.
Anyway, so again, we are celebrating the holiday of Mother's Day, and it's a day to honor mothers and motherhood, and also the influence of mothers in society, because, you know, over the years, the women that have contributed to our laws, our the changes in our the way we live have been mothers. And so anyways, how I wanted to tell you girls how this kind of started. I always wondered. And back in the early 1900s, there was a woman, Anna Jarvis, and after her mother had died, she wanted to honor her for all her sacrifices that she had given to her children. And so she came up with this, idea of just having a day to honor mother, to go to church, pray, and relax. So the first year that they had it, they did that. They went to church. They all the mothers came from the town. They had a tea, whatever. And then she thought this would be nice as a national holiday. And believe it or not, she had to fight for that because on the calendar, most holidays were honoring men in those days. Nothing for women.
And where did she come from?
From America. I don't know.
Oh, she was from the States. Okay.
Yeah, she was an American.
Okay.
But so anyways, she fought and fought. So we're talking, her mother died in 1905, and the bill was finally passed in 1914.
Wow.
That's how long she had to fight to have this a national holiday. And finally, President Wilson signed the paper to have the second Sunday in May as a national calendar holiday honoring mothers.
I'm really glad because even I don't know when the right to vote took place, and I don't, I'm sorry, but for women, because, and I'm going to say because not just women influencing their children, but they say a lot of men are successful because of the support they get from their wives. And when, women need to be honored for themselves and the things that they do for their families, because a lot of times it is the mother that is looking after, I'm going to say, the elder parents, as well as their younger children. And then sometimes when grandchildren come along, mothers are still being, the ones that are sort of the influence on these families. They are the center and the focal point. And recently, Andrea, I saw a video clip, and this is, when you think about mothers and why we should honor them, and I can't tell you how much my mother sacrificed for us kids, but when a mother is teaching their kids all the right things to do, because mostly, especially back in the, the early 1900s, the men worked, and it was the women who stayed home and raised the kids. So it was the women who actually taught the kids, I'm going to say, right from wrong and, manners and everything else. Well, there was this little boy, I can't remember if he was 6 or 8 years old, but somewhere in that range. And this is how much, I'll say, his mother had influenced him. It was raining and he was on a school trip at the zoo, and it started to rain, and he took his jacket off because these two little girls were huddling together because they were getting wet and they were trying to shelter themselves from the rain, and he took off his coat. I was like, I almost cried when I saw that because it was so nice. He's a little boy. Where does he get that? He got that from his mom.
Exactly.
To be a gentleman, it was like unbelievable.
They say everything starts at home.
Yeah.
Mother's your first love, your first teacher. And, if you're lucky, it's an unconditional love that your mother bestows upon you. And that love helps you grow, helps you become a good human, and a human that loves themselves and wants to pay it forward, So you really, mothers are understated. I can't even tell you, like when I think about what we do, and I saw a thing on Facebook once, and it said all the jobs, and it had a picture of all the jobs mothers do. And there was a doctor, a fireman, a lawyer, an accountant, a garbage man, a paramedic, a nurse, a housekeeper. It was amazing, the group of people, because that's exactly what we are, not in a professional form, obviously, but especially when the children in their first 5 years, and they say the first 5 years determines the type of adult you're going to be.
Yes.
And so that's, you should be reading to your children, teaching them manners, teaching them, giving them love and self-esteem, to believe in themselves, and give them the tools that they need later on in life.
And that's what most mothers do.
Yeah.
I have to tell you now, with my mom, she actually, I told you, my mother would sacrifice anything for us kids. I mean, she really, truly did. She would give you the shirt off her back if you need it, because she would feel if you ask for it, you need it more than she does. And she's always done that for all of us.
Right.
And the thing is, my mom, who also is supposed to, because she was home more than my dad, because obviously my dad worked, and he worked in the mine, so long hours, the commute, everything. But my mom was supposed to be the disciplinarian as well. And my mother would she would try, but that was not her strong suit. And it was like, if she grounded us, it was like within 5 or 10 minutes, oh, here's some money, go and get some ice cream. And she'd send us off to the store, because she felt so bad if she had to punish us for anything. And
I used to say, I always said to my children, they used to say things like, when I would say no or whatever, oh, all you do is say no, it's so easy. I said, no, you don't realize saying no is harder than saying yes, because I have to deal with the backlash. I have to see you grounded and sitting in the house sulking all the time. I said, don't think that it's easy for me to say no. It's easier to say yes and get you out of the house. So mothers have to be stern, because otherwise they don't learn. But I know what you mean. My mother, forget about it. If she had to discipline us, she'd cry. It was always my dad. But
it's interesting though, because I never had children, and although when I got married I didn't want any, and then 5 years into the marriage I thought, yeah, I'd like kids, and then I wasn't able to have them. But I realized over the years how difficult a mother's job is, that in one way I'm kind of happy that I ended up being a career person, that God saw me as taking the easy way out, I'm going to say, because it is very difficult to parent on a full-time basis. And like I said, I consider myself an anti-mom, anti in the good way, not in against mom, anti in the sense that I am an aunt to many nieces and nephew. But my sister, who has 2 children, I was closest to just from proximity more than anything. And it seems to be you're closer to your sisters than you are to your brothers. And so your brothers tend to be closer to their wives' families, and that's how it ended up in mine, and but also because of the proximity. And so with my sister having 2 children, I always felt like I was a mom, especially if my sister was away or doing something, and I was there with the kids. I was kind of in place of the mom, and I always said, I'm the other mom. I'm the anti-mom, and my sister was really good, because she basically, from a very early age, told the kids that they had to listen to me, because in place of her, I was the one in charge. I was the one responsible. So, and because
you need to have that authority.
Yeah, you do.
When their parents aren't around, and it's the
same when they're young too. They easily want to say, "Oh, you're not my mom." But the thing is, I was kind of like it. And for one of my sister's children, my nephew, he is my godson, so I've always felt like he was my son. But the thing is, it's not on a full-time basis like it is for most moms, and they get all the responsibility, and they get all the heartache, and they get all the stress of things that go on, where I had more the good side of being the anti-mom, because but I realized what my mom went through raising 7 kids. And at one point, my brother came home with his wife, and child. So, there was the extra one in the house for a while. And it's challenging for somebody to balance that.
Yes. And that's the thing. It's a blessing and a hardship to be a mother, and back in the day when mothers stayed home, you would say it was easier because you didn't have to juggle so many things. But now these mothers that go to work every day and then they come home and then they have to switch roles. So
Yeah.
now they're no longer a business person, they're a mother. So gotta shake away all that like authoritiveness, like
the business part.
Speak to them. And I used to say to my husband all the time when he came home, we're not your trades. Change your way of thinking. So women have to do that all the time. They got to come home and get into the mother role. And it's getting them to their functions, like say they take dance or they play hockey. There's all that to organize. There's dinner to get ready, lunches to pack for the next day, the beddings, the baths. And then there's yourself, you have to get yourself ready for the next day. I'm telling you, mothers really deserve more than one day a year.
They really do. And the thing is, even back, Andrea, when our moms were raising, I'll say kids, don't forget families averaged 5, 6, 7 kids. And that's a lot to juggle, even though they were home all the time. Yes, when everyone finally got into school full time, it gave them that little bit of a break, but not from work because there was lots to do before the kids got home. And now with women, that balancing act of going off to work, getting their kids, off to school, coming home and having to prepare dinner. And like you said, get the bath, do the cleaning and everything else ready again. It's always been tough for women.
Yes.
It's always been tough. Now, I find in some ways, though, even with working women, in some cases, it's been a little bit easier when they've had support from their moms to help out with raising the kids. And I say this because even you, Andrea, as a grandmother, will take some of that load and responsibility off your daughter so that it's not going to totally stress her out and wear her down. Because even though she's got one child and some people, might have 2 or 3, it is a lot of work because it's almost as much work having more than one kid as it is one kid, because you still have to do everything.
Well, see, now here's the thing too. Back in the day, the way people thought, man goes to work, comes home, has dinner and sits on the couch. And that's his day. Doesn't think about the children. Whereas nowadays, men are very involved with the children. So one might be taking one off to this sport or that sport, or, there's much more of a 50-50 involved. So the mothers can get some help. But I just know from when we were growing up with my mom, it was the dads might take them on a Saturday or something down to the lake or something. But, other than that, it was, and I could see my mother getting frustrated. I could see her getting overwhelmed. And the thing is, back in those days, a lot of women moved away from home. So they didn't have mothers or siblings to help. And then on top of all that, no dishwashers, no
true.
fryers, no automatic washers, everything was by hand and hard.
Remember the old ringer washers?
Oh, yes.
You could get your fingers caught in there. I know until my mom, until us kids were a little bit older, because when I was older, in my early teens, I started doing my own laundry, but it wasn't easy initially. But I wanted my clothes a certain way, when you're getting into being a teenager. So that took a little bit of pressure off my mom, not having as much laundry as she would have for all of us kids.
But the problem with the ringer washer was you had to get it out of the corner, at least we did, and bring it to the sink so you could hook it up to the water.
That's true.
That wasn't an easy process either, as to just go into the laundry room now and throw
basements were basements.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
ours was upstairs, but
Oh, see, ours was in the basement.
oh, see, ours was upstairs. It was tucked in a corner, and then every time
Oh,
the laundry, you had to drag it out, hook it up to the sink for the water, and so that was only done once a week.
yeah.
So
Well, you
you
know,
had to take care of your clothes.
it's interesting though, as I'll say kids got older, moms got a tiny bit of a break because some of the older kids would do stuff for the younger kids
Yes,
to
yes,
give the moms a break because it was nonstop, Andrea, until everybody was in bed. It was
right.
nonstop.
Oh,
And
yes.
I don't know if I could have actually ever had that kind of energy that our moms had
No,
to do because they couldn't go to bed before us. There was
no,
just no way.
no, no. And
You
you
know,
know,
I was thinking about,
uh,
recently King Charles had the coronation, and but I was thinking of Camilla, Queen Camilla, and the fact that, and this was the other thing, even as a mom, she's a mom and she's a grandmother, she is now queen. And ladies, you're always queen of your castle, but it's interesting how you can have that dream and it can actually come to fruition. Well, I also had heard that Meghan Markle, you know, had a vision board when she was younger of being into the royal family, being married and being a princess in the royal family.
wow.
And at the time, allegedly, she was married and she was still dreaming about what her future could be. But this is what's interesting. Ladies, whether you're at home as a mom, as a grandmother, it ain't over till it's over.
Exactly.
And it's one of the reasons why Andrea and I do the show, because we want to honor you, but we also want you to know life is about what you want. And if you put it out there in the universe, now, I don't know how Queen Camilla, other than running in the same circles with Charles, eventually, but she also took a lot of flack for many, many years, but she is now queen. And Meghan Markle, who was even married, well, and actually Camilla was married at one point as well, divorced and ended up, marrying
Her,
King Charles.
her ex-husband was at the coronation.
Oh, well, that's nice. I was up actually to watch it, and I saw a lot of people going in, including our prime minister, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, but the point is, if you look at these women, you have to look at them with inspiration and awe. The fact that these are, I'm going to say, really, I mean, Camilla might have come from a little bit more upscale family than Meghan did, but it doesn't matter where your lot in life is. The fact is, in this world, and this goes for women all over the world, that you can change what it is that you want out of life. We're honoring you because you're strong women. You do so much for your family. You do so much for others. But think about it. If it was something you really wanted and you put it out there in the universe, it might not necessarily be your immediate family that wants you to have this goal. But if you tell the right friends that support you and lift you and help get you there, it's going to happen. Because even with Meghan having this alleged vision board, she had friends put her in the right places so to make it happen. And she got to be a princess. She got to be married, to Prince Harry. And I'm like, when I think about these things, wow, it really is true.
Anything's
The
possible.
only limits we have are what we put on ourselves.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Women, you are the best.
Women are very, very powerful. And even if they're not out there doing it, they are supporting the people that are doing it. Their husbands, their children, their
friends. Andrea, even you just told me, before we aired, how you're supporting a friend because there's things that are going on in her life right now. And you said, Yeah, I feel like I should be supporting and helping out because she's taking on some extra responsibilities,
Right.
and it's nice that you can have, and that's why it's really great that women can, have this support together. And
Right.
one of the things I also saw was a preview for the movie, the book club 2 that's coming out
Oh,
today. It's
yes.
like, and those women, after doing the book club 1, they're actually all friends now.
Oh,
And
yeah. I've
it's
seen the,
really, really nice to
yes.
know at
Yeah.
even their age, because I believe that most of them are, well, they're 60, 70 range, that
Well,
you
I
can
think
still make friends.
like 80.
She could be,
Yeah, I think.
yeah.
And
But there's
like John,
Mary Steenburgen, Candice
yeah,
Bergen, and
and
Diane Keaton.
Diane
And
Keaton.
all 4 of them said they've become friends and they try to get together, and because it's women supporting women, and
Yes.
we are
Yeah.
the backbone of most things that are successful,
Right.
whether it's the country, it's the husbands that you are supporting, anything. Women are the backbone, and the
And
kids that you raise. What's
yes,
that?
I was going to say the one thing that I love about Facebook is when I'm going through, there's a lot of stories. And here's the funny thing. I'm shocked at some of the contributions that women and mothers have made over the years in our society. And they're all coming out now because women are finding them. And like, what is that? Why were women, like when I saw that movie, what was that movie with the woman who uh helped with the space rocket?
I was thinking of that exact movie, and wasn't there 4 women that were
Yeah,
part of that space
Kansas.
program?
I had no idea about that
Me
woman.
neither, until I saw that movie, and I wish I could remember the name. Oh my God, it was amazing. And
And
that
what,
was back then, and they got no recognition, Andrea.
right. And when I saw it, I filled up with pride. And that's probably what they don't want women to know. They don't want women to feel that sense of pride and strength. I thought, I love these women. Why didn't I know about these women? I'm so proud of them. I don't even know them, but they make me proud because they're a woman, and back then, and they were, probably looked down upon, like, oh, what do you
Well,
know?
they were
Because
paid very little. They were
very,
paid very little for what their
that,
contributions, and their contributions were extremely important to the space program. And you know what? Why weren't we taught this in school?
why?
Why?
Exactly. They don't want to empower women. They never
No,
have. They
that was
never.
the problem.
And that's why we need to band together, help each other, lift each other up. I get so angry when I see shows like, wives of this and wives of that. They're making fools of themselves on TV, Beverly Hills Women, or I don't know what they're called. I can't watch them because I'm thinking they're doing it for money, but they slam each other. They do silly things. They make themselves look silly. And for me, that's not what I want for the women in my life. And I wouldn't want to make any kind of money on making another friend or another woman look foolish, you know.
I've
So,
actually never seen the show. I know what you're talking about.
well, you see,
I know people who
oh,
watch these shows. So
yeah.
I didn't realize that they do that against each other.
Well, it's
I've
all
never
it's
seen
all
it.
for show. It's all for money, right? It's all to make a show, and
Well,
and I,
and it's entertaining for
yeah,
some people. I think that's why, they have these shows, because
right.
some people find, but only if you could read between the lines and then use it as to know what not to do,
Not to,
it might be okay.
yeah,
But if you don't take the lessons from
right,
it,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, that's not how you want to treat people, and it's not how you want to treat friends.
yeah.
So
I want to see more shows about stronger women, and I love watching the documentaries about how women are contributing to the world. There's this one archaeologist that I'm watching right now, and she was a lawyer, but now she became from Brazil. She became a an archaeologist because she's obsessed with Cleopatra, and for
oh,
the last 14 years she's been in Egypt, and she's getting close to finding the tomb of Cleopatra because it's never been found. And
Wow.
love watching her and her strength and her vision, because like I said, her family wanted her to be a lawyer, which she did become, but her end goal was to find Cleopatra, and she never let go of it. And then finally she said, okay, I'm done with the law world. I want to follow my dream. And you can just see her joy and her happiness. And I just love watching every year as she digs deeper and deeper. And I pray she gets to find Cleopatra.
Well, you know, what's interesting. She did the career that her parents wanted, but also what was interesting, she probably saved enough money so she could do now what she was really passionate about, which she wouldn't consider work anymore.
Right.
Because now she's doing what she wants to do.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it is beautiful, and it's a really nice goal to have. And that's why I say, women, don't limit yourself, because the whole world is there waiting for you, and your contributions, what you would like to contribute to this world. What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be known for?
Right.
You know, and if that's just raising a successful, happy family, that's totally a good, I'll say, career.
Yes.
And you will be well known for the rest of your life. Because, and when we get to Father's Day, I know that this show is about women, but I want to talk about, you know, the influence that men have in our lives as well to help us become successful. But the whole thing is that to this day, and my father's been dead since 1974, I still think about all the great things that my dad did. And that's how, as a mom, you want to be known. Your kids and your grandkids, you want them to remember you.
Well, Linda,
for all the great things you did.
Well, Linda, it's funny because when you watch the award shows or you listen to successful people, one of the first things out of their mouth is, I want to thank my mom. You know, this is for my mom. And, you know, all the sacrifice. I watch like The Voice and American Idol and all of them. Always.
Well, two people normally, mom and God. I hear a lot of people thank God for where they are and their moms. And it's true, because next to God, the moms are the ones that give you the most influence, isn't it?
Yeah.
And well, I don't blame all of these people.
My kids also bought me last year this pillow, and it's a quote that I see quite often. And it says, to the world, you are a mother. To our family, you are the world. So it's really nice, and you should remember that, because they don't always say it, they don't always show it, but it's there. They know who you are, they know you love them. And always in a moment of crisis, where do they go? Home. They call
it's
home.
True.
I always did it for my mom when I needed to be calmed down or comforted. I called my mom. So remember that. A mom, a blessing, and you should feel honored to be a mom. And I don't know.
It's a good way to end the show, Andrea, because women, happy Mother's Day. I hope you get to do whatever it is you want, which is hopefully not a lot.
Exactly.
Take the day
and
relax.
And be served.
And be served. Yes. That one day, hopefully you get to be served. And if you don't have anyone to do that, just take the day. And, you know, whether it's a hot bath or, you know, reading a book, whatever it is that you want to spend it, because ladies, no matter what, you make your contribution, whether you have kids or don't have kids like me, you still deserve to have some time for you. Exactly. So until next week, I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And we hope that you like,
share,
and please subscribe. We can't do it without you. But liking, thumbs up if you can, that also helps.
That helps.
We'll see you next week.